This is an instructional video for the Curriculum Organiser Australia to enable teachers to plan quickly and efficiently for the New South Wales Board of Studies Australian curriculum. In doing so, we are answering the key questions of why we teach. This answer relates to the syllabus which has been created by the system, who has looked at society and determined what the children need to learn for their current self-development and their contribution to society and for their future needs. The next questions we answer is, what do we teach when? These are questions answered by the school, who are attempting to provide a comprehensive, coordinated, coherent and developmental program. The third layer, in the green folders, relate to how do we teach, with what, so what and how well. These are the questions which teachers address while in the classroom. For we need to understand the strategies, the resources, the assessment task criteria, and then apply the standards. All of this can be adapted and modified to be able to suit the children. So the fourth layer is referring to the question, for whom? Over in the left-hand column, we have the directory tree. And the directory tree comprises the four layers: the system layer, the school layer, then the teacher layer. I'm going to look at the teacher layer, and in the teacher layer we have three types of documents. My plans, which are empty folders for the teachers to prepare their own personal program centre. And then we have the Australian curriculum flags, where we have the current New South Wales Australian curriculum materials. And finally, we have the units for the current Board of Studies material, which are still retained as we make the transition from the Board of Studies to the New South Wales Australian curriculum. We're going to focus on the Australian curriculum. So I open up Year 1 and within Stage 1. So we'll notice that there is early stage, Stage 1, Stage 2, Stage 3. So open up Stage 1, and then we have Year 1, Year 2. Open up Year 2 by clicking the little arrow to the left-hand side. And then open up the English program, and we see those three layers. We have the Australian curriculum materials, which includes the outcomes. And then we have the content and descriptions from the Board of Studies and the content descriptions from the Australian curriculum. So there are the requirements. Now the question is, how do we meet those requirements? To do that, we go into the programming section. The programming section includes checklists, which includes the requirements at the top of the page in green font, and then underneath that we have statements of content which the teachers may then choose to use to meet those requirements. You notice the units are also provided in the left-hand column. So the second layer, what do we teach when, includes program checklists. It also includes a template for teachers to be able to organise the material, including literature, which is the source where teachers can immerse the children in the program so that they can then access the text, understand its purpose, structure and context, respond to that text, appreciate, analyse and reflect, and then finally to create and express themselves, to use their knowledge of those texts in another context. In this case, we'd be applying informational texts, persuasive texts, and imaginative texts as well. The next layer is the green folders, which is for the teachers to be able to plan individual lessons. So we have text-based modules, which includes informative texts, persuasive texts, and imaginative texts, and also multimodal texts. Then there are the literacy processes, speaking and listening, reading, writing and viewing, and then the language, structures and features, and language competencies, including grammar, punctuation and spelling. So these are the teacher units. I can then select a teaching unit by clicking on the arrow to the left-hand side, and we can then identify the unit which we may choose. At the top of each of these documents are the content descriptions and the Board of Studies requirements, the contents, in green font. Anything in green font represents the requirements. In the left-hand column, we have teacher knowledge. In the right-hand column, student activities. The student activities are presented using the 6 hats of thinking. That is an inquiry process. So, for example, we set the goals, which is red hat thinking. We then organise the information, which is blue hat thinking. We give them a resource, in this case, a stimulus provided on this website, which is white hat thinking. Then they apply the knowledge in another context, which is green hat or growth thinking. Then we can use a learning object, and here's a learning object from the Education Services Australia to be able to consolidate this work. And then finally there is an assessment task. In this case, they had to produce a storyboard with a sequence of events. At the bottom of the screen, we have the lesson planner, which enables teachers to produce individual lessons. Teachers are encouraged, however, to make their own professional decisions. To do this, we select the texts. So in this case, I've put the cursor or the little finger in the left-hand column, and I've chosen it, as we can see from the blue line. I then use the right click. The right click is like calling for the waiter. That is, it opens the menu. I've opened the menu. I then click on Download Documents. This document is now being downloaded. It's being transferred from the online server and placed on the computer. And as we can see, in green font, we have the Australian curriculum requirements. Left-hand column, teacher knowledge. Right-hand column, student activities. And then underneath that, we have the lesson plans. A teacher then may choose some of this work for individual lessons. So they merely right-click, copy, paste this information into their lesson plans, and so they can compile then lesson plans in the document below. So what we've done so far, we've navigated through the tree, we've found documents, and we have right-clicked and edited that document by downloading it. Furthermore, we are able to find documents using the search function. So in this case, if I search for example, full stops, I click search, it goes through all 12,000 documents and then finds the relevant documents in 13 folders times 6. So we have a lot of documents here. I can then preview that document. I click on the preview button, and again it gives me the requirements at the top of the page, left-hand side teacher knowledge, right-hand side student activities. The teacher can then choose this particular lesson, if they wish, as part of their teaching plan. We can then go back to the search and copy this. I can copy it, take it over to my plans, and in my plans I've set up folders here for English and the programs and teaching units. I could then right-click and paste that document, and that document is then located within the directory tree. So we can search and copy and paste these documents. There's another method of finding documents, and that is to use the contents page. At the top of every one of these folders, there is a contents page. The contents page is like the contents page of a book. It includes all of the documents located within that folder. And so this gives teachers very quick access then to all the materials that might be available within that folder, and provides another method of choosing the material. The teacher, they may then click on a document. In this case I clicked on the Kite Park, which is a narrative. We have 400 narratives available here. This is converted to Word. We have the vocabulary, the text for the narrative, and then some assessment activities. Teachers can adapt to these programs because they're in Word, and this could be changed and adapted to be able to suit the children, or the children themselves might like to create their own text as well. In addition to that, we have the mathematics and the science units. And so similarly to English, we have the Australian curriculum materials, the content descriptions. We have programs, which includes sample programs for teachers to be able to work with. So in the case of mathematics, there's a sample program, a week by week, term by term program that teachers may like to follow. And we have teaching units. So in this case, we have area, a program. So I can click on this, and again, we have at the top of the page, we will see we have the requirements at the top of the page, and then down the left-hand side, teacher knowledge, and down the right-hand side, we have student activities. And at the bottom of each of these pages, we have a teaching plan, and in this case, we also had some exercises for the teachers to work with, and then the lesson planner. So not only do we have English, but we also have got mathematics, science and history ready once the Board of Studies approves this material. In addition to that, we have integrated units. The integrated units include graphic organisers, which are the overview, the content overview for the course. These can be used to negotiate and adapt and modify and provide for differentiated learning. Furthermore, we have the elaboration of this. So we have HISI, English and Maths. Next page, Science, Health and Phys Ed and the Arts. And we'll also have a culminating activity at the bottom. And then a planner underneath that. So it would be possible for a teacher to choose an integrated unit and provide different learning programs for students at different stages of development. Furthermore, we're able to link this to the teaching units. So in this case, we could select data representation. I click on that. That link is now taken to the teaching unit. So within the context of the integrated unit, it is possible to be able to then teach specifically that teaching unit. So in this case, we've got also the learning object from the Education Services Australia. So we have subject units and integrated units readily available. We're also able to meet the requirements of all of the codes. And again, we can merely search for the code. So in this case, if I'm looking at the Australian curriculum and the content checklists, thinking imaginatively, and here we've got a requirement, a code from the Board of Studies. I can just copy this back to the search, paste that into the search function, click search, and then it identifies all of the units which related to that. So in this case, we're going to have children thinking imaginatively. They can play drama games and role play. There's a requirements at the top. There's the code we're searching for. Left-hand column is teacher knowledge. Right-hand column is student activities. So we have a well-organised program which brings all the elements together, and search functions and contents pages, which enables teachers to find the material very quickly. Furthermore, these materials can be supplemented by your work, or in fact your own teaching units are automatically uploaded. So we do a right-click, upload the documents, and the upload function becomes available to us. So I can then browse for this function. I might be doing families. I click open this, click OK, and that document has now been uploaded. In other words, merely by using the right click and browse, we're able to upload documents which you are currently using or which the school is currently using. So not only do we have documents which you may choose from within this resource, for this program is merely a resource, but it can complement your existing work and bring all the materials together. We do hope that you find this program helpful. It saves you time, increases your professional satisfaction in the classroom, and enables the children to have appreciable benefits in their outcomes. Feel free to call us on 1300 66 9810 or email contact us at educationresearch.com.au. All the best.